So let me ask you a question. Who is the most innocent person that you've ever come across? I would argue that it's the person, when being investigated, who is able to tell the person who is investigating them what the outcome of the investigation is going to be. That person is always innocent. And there is a reason why I think that most places, most big organizations are run by very corrupt people. And it's because of something that I call an enabling factor. And that would be HR, or human resources. You see, the thing is, most organizations are set up to look like, from the outside, like there's accountability at the very top level. But the thing is, the way it's designed, all ethical reviews, including those people at the top, are handled internally. And so if you work for me and you're investigating me, then I already know what the outcome of the investigation is before you even begin. Not guilty. And that is why I think that human resources needs a lot less power and a lot less influence within organizations. Now, I do want to say, as a disclaimer, that if you are the type of person that works in an HR field and you are not corrupt and you are ethical and you are moral and you're professional and you do not allow the people above you to tell you to do something and act in an unethical manner, and you do it, then the world needs more people like you. Bravo, kudos. You need to write a book and you need to go on a speaking tour, because it's been my experience that the people who work in HR are very, very corrupt, and that they basically exist to crush some people while looking out for others. And there is no standard across the board because of how they conduct business. Now, in my own experience, I found that HR stands for harboring rule breakers and harassing righteous. Because it seems like, based off of my dealings with them, that's exactly what they do. And in fact, I had this discussion when I had to deal with HR last year. I spoke with one of their representatives. And I told this person that I felt like he was not capable of making an informed decision, which made him the person that needed to be the deciding factor in whether I was worthy of my position or not. And when he asked why, in a very, very hostile way, because he sounded completely offended by the question, I asked him, have you ever been a firefighter? Have you ever been an EMT? Ever been a paramedic? Ever been in public safety? Ever been a first responder? Of course. What do you think he said? Absolutely not. So then I hit him with a very common occurrence in my field. 3 a.m. in the morning, a 30-year-old male calls with back pain. He's had this back pain for a month, but he has not sought to care from a doctor for his condition. And so 3 a.m., this particular middle of the night, he needs to go to the hospital. And so while preparing this person to take them to the hospital, he gives me unwarranted bad attitude. And so I kind of snap back just a little bit. And then in the morning, when he gets his pain meds and his back is feeling better, he calls up and gives you a complaint against me. And all of a sudden, You think that I am no longer worthy of my job. But what you can't know about is the dead baby I ran earlier, or the person I was doing CPR on, whose family was standing around pleading with us to save their family member's life. And based off of my experience, I knew that everything I was doing was not going to have the outcome that they wanted. I told this person, you can't understand that pressure. And we don't have a button on us or a way of flushing these calls and these emotions and what's in our soul afterwards. We have to walk around. There's no way we can make new room for new crap. The new crap we get gets stuffed into the already tight space of our mind and our hearts. And so if you're sitting in a cush office, in a cush desk, in a cush chair, you have no way of knowing how it feels to be me. And therefore, you're holding me to a standard which I don't think is fair, and you can't possibly understand what I go through. And there are men and women who've dedicated their entire existence to the job, to the occupation that they do. They've tried to take classes and do things to make themselves the best employee that they can. Dedicated their entire lives to a job and an organization. And because of a complaint like I described earlier, in a moment's notice, it's all gone. And by doing that, what has been taken away is the people at the head of the organization who have actually done the job to use these moments like teaching opportunities, where they can sit there and mold an employee, where they can point out their mistakes, give them an opportunity to show that they've learned from it. And then that person becomes more invested because of the chance they were given to prove themselves. They become a better employee. And as they gain more experience and they run into younger people, they can mentor them and tell them about the mistakes they made so they don't do it. So in doing that, you strengthen your organization and you make it a better place to be. Instead, what we have is a group of people who sit here and seem to revel in destroying some people's lives, all the while covering up for other people's corruption and wrongdoing. And the people that they cover up for are the ones at the top who truly should be held to a higher standard, but instead are given a lot more leeway to do the wrong thing. And this is where I'm going to explain my experiences with HR, which give me this stance.